Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For 4 years, I unsuccessfully warned my Democratic colleagues that you cannot spin the economy. Every person knows exactly how the economy is doing in their own lives, and any politician who tries to tell them otherwise just looks foolish. The Democrats' tax, spend, regulate, and waste policies led to a 4-year decline in real wages, and no matter how they tried to spin it otherwise, people knew better. Now that same warning applies to our side of the aisle. The only economic indicator that matters is how Americans answer this simple question next year. Are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? We can't answer that question for them. All we can do is put in place the policies that will produce a noticeable improvement in their quality of life. And I think we will. DOGE has revealed the staggering amount of sheer theft of public resources going on just below the surface of our government bureaucracies, and this has to stop. The sooner we can stop the thieves, shut down the scams, and recover the hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money with rescissions, the better. The Biden socialists imposed nearly $2 trillion of regulatory burdens on the economy, driving up costs and suppressing productivity. Those have to be rolled back, and they are. By opposing extension of the TCJA, the Democrats are advocating the largest tax increase in American history that will take another $1,500 a year in annual taxes from a family that earns just $75,000 a year. Republicans have to stop them, and while we enact additional tax and spending cuts, and that's what the reconciliation battle is all about. For 4 years, the Democrats facilitated and encouraged the largest illegal mass migration in history, gleefully admitting 8.5 million unvetted and impoverished illegal aliens into our country, costing American taxpayers $160 billion a year to support, and flooding the labor market with cheap illegal labor, which suppressed family wages. This is all coming to a screeching halt. And then finally, we have the trade situation, and we need to be very clear on this. Tariffs hurt the economy of whatever country imposes them. There's no way around that. Their only justification is to leverage trading partners to lower their trade barriers, benefiting both countries. I hope and pray that this is the direction the president's heading. If he isn't, it will be one of the most tragic acts of self-sabotage in recorded history. But if he is, then we could see within a few months the beginning of a new age of global free trade and the explosive economic growth that that can produce. A few weeks ago, I told him the sooner we could start getting rescission bills and bilateral free trade agreements, the better, and he said he wanted to send us a lot of both. Spending restraint and frugality, $2 trillion of regulatory liberation, tax relief to give families breathing room again, an end to illegal immigration, its enormous cost to taxpayers and working families, and a new era of global free trade. These are the policies that we have to have in place by summertime. If we're successful, then within a year, I think we could see the greatest economic expansion in recorded history. Republicans won't need to spend the economy. Every family will be feeling it, and that's what I think the Democrats fear most. Now, Dr. Winfrey, the Democratic witness told us that the source of all of our fiscal distress were the Trump tax cuts. But three figures seem to put the lie to that claim: 46, 64, and 94. In the last 10 years, we've seen a 46% increase of inflation and population combined. We've seen a 64% increase in revenues after the Trump tax cuts. So the revenues far exceeded inflation and population growth combined. Isn't the problem the third figure, 94%? That was in the increase in spending in the same period. And the Democrats are telling us, just do more of that. What are your thoughts?
We've had different tax systems since the end of the Second World War, right? So in 40 years ago, the top 20% of income earners paid 55% of all federal taxes. In 2020, it was about the top 20% paid about 84% of all taxes. So the tax code has become more progressive over time. At the same time, the top rate has decreased significantly since the end of the World War, where it was in the 70s, in the 1950s. It's much lower today across the board. And despite those different tax systems, we've raised about the same amount of revenue, about 16 to 20% of GDP, depending on how much the economy is growing. And that's because it's impossible to design a revenue collection system that grows revenue on an annual basis faster than the economy can grow. At the same time, there are spending programs, and including Medicaid, I mean, I mentioned it in my testimony, that have grown grown faster than GDP in 45 of the last 59 years. That's the problem, right? We have these structural inequities within the spending system that are pushing spending growth higher and higher and higher every year. And at the same time, it's impossible to design a revenue collection system that grows faster than the economy.
So in 4 words, it's the spending stupid.